My child, you thought you were searching for answers, but it was me guiding your fingers the entire time. That restless feeling in your heart, I placed it there because tonight, your confusion ends. You did not arrive here by accident. Before your eyes opened to these words, I had already prepared this moment. Before your heart became tired from searching, before your mind became heavy with questions, before you typed another desperate thought into the silence of the night, I already knew this meeting would happen between you and me. I watched every restless moment. I saw every tear that fell when nobody was around. I heard every sigh you tried to hide behind fake smiles and distracted conversations. I know how exhausted you have become from trying to understand why your life feels stuck between hope and disappointment, between faith and fear, between wanting to believe and feeling too tired to keep trying. But listen to me carefully now, because tonight is different. Something is shifting already, even before you fully realize it. I did not bring you here just to comfort you for a moment and then leave you unchanged. I brought you here because the season that has confused your spirit is reaching its end, and I need you to hear my voice clearly before the next chapter of your life begins. My beloved child, there is a reason you could not stop searching. There is a reason your heart has felt unsettled lately, as if something deep inside you has been crying for more while your mind could not explain what was missing. You searched through voices, through advice, through memories, through distractions, through endless thoughts that kept circling your mind late into the night. You searched because your soul remembered me even when your fear tried to silence that memory. You kept reaching for answers because I planted the hunger inside you. I allowed your comfort to fade because I refused to let you remain asleep inside a season that was slowly draining your spirit. The confusion you felt was not proof that I abandoned you. It was proof that I was calling you higher. I disrupted the false peace around you because your destiny could not survive inside the old version of yourself. I know there were moments when you felt abandoned. I know there were nights when you asked me, Lord, where are you? Why does everything feel so uncertain? Why can I not hear you clearly anymore? But my child, I was closer than you realized. Even in silence, I was guiding you toward this moment. I know how heavy your thoughts have become. I know how many times you replayed painful conversations in your mind. I know how many times fear convinced you that nothing would ever change. I saw the moments you looked around at your life and wondered if you had missed your purpose somewhere along the way. I know you became tired of waiting, tired of praying, tired of hoping for clarity, while confusion kept surrounding your heart like thick fog. But listen to me now, confusion will not lead your future anymore. Fear will not control your next season. Doubt will not speak louder than my voice in your life. Tonight, I am breaking something that has been holding your spirit hostage for far too long. The chains are not always visible, my child. Sometimes they are hidden inside thoughts. Sometimes they are hidden inside memories, disappointments, betrayals, and unanswered questions. Sometimes the enemy does not attack your body first. He attacks your peace. He attacks your confidence. He attacks your ability to trust me fully. And that is exactly what I interrupted your path tonight. I refuse to let confusion continue stealing the future I prepared for you. You thought you were looking for a message, but what your soul was truly searching for was my presence. That emptiness inside you was never meant to be filled by people, achievements, distractions, or temporary comfort. It was meant to lead you back to me. Every delay, every restless night, every moment where nothing seemed to make sense was slowly pulling your attention away from the noise of the world so you could finally hear my voice again. I know you have tried to stay strong. I know you have tried to carry burdens silently because you did not want anyone to see how exhausted you really were. But my child, I never asked you to carry your pain alone. I never asked you to pretend to be unbreakable. I only asked you to come closer to me. And tonight, you finally did. Tonight, you stopped long enough to hear me speak directly into the deepest places of your soul. Do not ignore this moment. Do not treat this like another passing message you hear and then forget tomorrow. Heaven arranged this encounter intentionally. There are moments in life when everything changes quietly before it changes visibly. This is one of those moments. Right now, while you are listening, something inside you is already awakening. You can feel it, can't you? That stirring deep within your spirit. That feeling that these words somehow understand the pain nobody else fully sees. That feeling is not coincidence. That is my spirit reaching into the hidden places of your heart. I am reminding your soul that you still belong to me. I am reminding you that your story is not over. I am reminding you that confusion does not get the final word over your destiny. My precious child, there are things I protected you from that you still do not understand. There are doors I kept closed because they would have destroyed your peace later. There are people I removed because they were connected to seasons you were never meant to stay trapped inside forever. I know you cried over losses you did not understand. I know you questioned why certain prayers seemed delayed while others around you appeared to move forward so easily. But what you called delay, I often called protection. What you called silence, I called preparation. What you called confusion, I called transition. You were never abandoned. You were being repositioned. I had to break your attachment to what was comfortable because comfort was slowly becoming your prison. The next chapter of your life requires a deeper trust in me, not a deeper dependence on temporary things. And now the time has come for clarity to return to your spirit. Not all at once, but step by step. I am not only calming your heart tonight, I am realigning your path. The heaviness you carried for months will not follow you forever. The mental exhaustion that kept draining your energy will begin to lose its grip over you. The fear that whispered worst-case scenarios into your thoughts will no longer dominate your peace the way it once did. You are stepping into a new season, and that season begins the moment you choose to believe that my voice is greater than your confusion. The enemy wanted your mind so overwhelmed that you would stop listening to me completely. He wanted you distracted, emotionally exhausted, spiritually numb, and too discouraged to keep seeking my presence. But he failed, my child, because despite every attack against your mind, your heart still kept searching for me. And tonight, I am answering that search personally. Right, you are the anchor when waves rise if he's held you through chaos. I planted this encounter because I knew you were reaching your breaking point. I knew you needed more than motivation. You needed divine reassurance. You needed to know that I still see you, still hear you, still love you, and still have a purpose prepared for your life. You needed to know that your confusion is not permanent. You needed to know that the tears you cried in private were not ignored by heaven. I collected every one of them. I stayed beside you through every silent battle, every anxious thought, every lonely moment when you wondered if anyone truly understood the weight inside your soul. I understood it all. And now I am speaking directly into that pain with authority, love, and restoration. So breathe again, my child. Let your spirit become still for a moment. Stop running through endless thoughts trying to control every unknown detail about your future. I'm already standing inside your tomorrow. I already know how this story unfolds. The season ahead will not look like the season behind you. There is healing coming. There is clarity coming. There is restoration coming. There are answers coming. There is peace returning to your spirit. But first, I needed your attention completely. That is why I guided you here tonight. That is why your search led to my voice. Because I wanted you to hear this truth clearly before anything else. You are not lost. You are not forgotten. And you are not alone. I called you here on purpose, and from this night forward, something in your life will begin to change forever. My child, stop for a moment and listen carefully to me. Do not rush past these words. Do not allow distraction to pull your attention away from this sacred moment between you and me. I know your mind has been crowded lately. I know how many thoughts have been pulling at your peace from every direction. I know how exhausted you have become from carrying worries you never speak aloud. But right now, I need you to quiet everything else and hear my voice clearly, because this moment was not created by chance. Before this day began, before you even realized how deeply your soul was searching for something more, I had already planned this encounter. I interrupted your routine intentionally. I guided your attention here intentionally. I called your spirit closer intentionally. You thought you were simply scrolling, searching, or trying to escape the heaviness inside your heart for a little while, but it was much deeper than that. I was drawing you toward me because there are things you need to hear tonight that will begin changing the direction of your life. My beloved child, I know you have felt unsettled for a long time now. There has been a strange tension inside your spirit, a feeling you could not fully explain to anyone around you. On the outside, you tried to continue functioning normally. You smiled when necessary. You answered questions with short replies. You kept moving through your responsibilities because life demanded it from you. But inside, your soul has been crying out for clarity. Inside, you have felt tired in ways that sleep could not fix. Your body rested, but your thoughts kept racing. Your eyes closed at night, but your mind refused to become quiet. Questions kept circling inside you. Why do I feel so lost lately? Why does my future seem uncertain? Why do I feel disconnected from peace? Why does it seem like something important is missing, my child? I heard every one of those questions, even the ones you never spoke aloud. And tonight, I need you to understand something very important. Your confusion did not scare me away. Your weakness did not make me abandon you. Your exhaustion did not disqualify you from my love. In fact, it was during your weakest moments that I moved closest to your heart. You kept asking me for a sign while overlooking the fact that I was already guiding your steps toward one. You kept begging for direction while I was already rearranging circumstances around you. You kept searching for answers in places that could never truly satisfy your spirit because what your soul needed most was not another temporary solution. What your soul needed was my presence. That emptiness inside you was not proof that you were broken beyond repair. It was proof that your spirit was hungry for me again. I allowed the discomfort because comfort had slowly pulled you away from deeper dependence on me. I allowed the questions because the old version of your life could not continue leading you into the future I prepared for you. There are seasons where I comfort my children gently, and there are seasons where I interrupt everything familiar because transformation requires awakening. This is your awakening season, my child. This is the season where I begin pulling you out of spiritual numbness and back into living connection with me. I know there were moments recently when you felt emotionally overwhelmed for reasons you could not explain. Small things suddenly felt heavier than before. Memories returned unexpectedly. Old fears resurfaced. Certain disappointments began replaying themselves inside your thoughts over and over again. You tried distracting yourself. You tried staying busy. You tried convincing yourself that eventually the feeling would disappear on its own. But deep down, you knew something larger was happening inside your spirit. You sensed that your soul was reaching a breaking point between the person you have been and the person I am calling you to become. And my child, that feeling was real. Because I have been shaking things loose inside your life that can no longer follow you into your next season. I have been exposing wounds you buried deeply because hidden pain cannot heal properly until it is brought into my light. I have been allowing certain uncomfortable truths to rise to the surface because I refuse to let you keep pretending everything is fine while your spirit silently suffers underneath the weight of unresolved pain. You thought your life was falling apart, but many things were actually falling into place. I know you could not see it clearly while you were standing inside the confusion. I know the silence frustrated you. I know the waiting exhausted you. I know there were nights when you prayed and then stared into the darkness wondering if I was still listening. But my beloved child, I never stopped listening for even one moment. Every prayer reached me. Every tear mattered to me. Every silent breakdown was seen by me. Even when nobody else recognized the heaviness you were carrying, I recognized it completely. I watched you try to remain strong while secretly feeling empty inside. I watched you encourage other people while your own heart felt discouraged. I watched you continue giving love while wondering if anyone truly understood your pain. And through all of it, I remained beside you, even during the moments when my presence felt hidden from your emotions. Please support our channel. Our work is to bring happiness in your life and devotion to God. And if you want, you can donate to us, given link in description or pinned comment to show your support. There were also battles happening around you that your natural eyes could not fully see. The enemy understood that your future carried purpose, so he targeted your peace first. He whispered confusion into your thoughts. He magnified fear inside your imagination. He tried convincing you that your best days were already behind you. He wanted you emotionally drained because exhausted people struggle to hear my voice clearly. He wanted you distracted by anxiety because fear weakens spiritual focus. He wanted you so overwhelmed with uncertainty that you would stop expecting anything good from me anymore. But my child, even while those battles surrounded you, I never removed my hand from your life. There were moments when you came much closer to emotional collapse than you realize, yet I strengthened you quietly. There were situations that could have completely destroyed your peace, yet I protected your mind from breaking under the pressure. You survived because my grace stayed over you, even while you felt weak. And now I am interrupting your life because the season ahead cannot be entered with the same mindset that controlled your previous season. I am calling you higher now. I am teaching you to stop depending only on what your eyes can understand. I am teaching you to trust me even when clarity has not fully arrived yet. That is difficult for you sometimes because you want certainty before movement. You want every answer before surrender. You want reassurance before obedience. But faith does not grow strongest in complete understanding. Faith grows strongest when you continue trusting my heart even while the path ahead still feels unfamiliar. I know your fear. I know your hesitation. I know the disappointment you carry from prayers that seemed unanswered in the past. But tonight, I am asking you to open your heart again. not to fear, not to confusion, not to hopelessness. Open your heart to me again. My precious child, there are blessings approaching your life that require a healed spirit to receive properly. There are opportunities coming that require emotional clarity. There are open doors ahead that require renewed confidence in me. That is why I could not allow you to remain trapped inside confusion forever. I love you too deeply to leave you wandering endlessly through spiritual exhaustion. The interruption happening tonight is not punishment. It is rescue. I am pulling you out of mental darkness before it consumes your hope completely. I am reminding your soul who has truly been holding your life together this entire time. Not your strength, not your plans, not your ability to control every situation. It has always been me. You have spent so much time worrying about tomorrow that you forgot I already stand inside your future. You became afraid because you could not see how everything would work out. But my child, I never asked you to carry the burden of knowing every detail ahead of time. I asked you to trust me one step at a time. I asked you to remain close to me while I guide your path gradually. The confusion became louder when you drifted too far into fear-filled thinking. But tonight, I am bringing your focus back to my voice. And my voice is not speaking fear over your future. My voice is speaking peace. My voice is speaking restoration. My voice is speaking healing. My voice is speaking direction. So breathe deeply now, my beloved child. Let your shoulders relax for a moment. Stop trying to solve your entire future tonight. Stop punishing yourself because you do not have every answer yet. Stop believing the lie that you have already missed your purpose. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are not too broken for me to restore. This divine interruption is proof that I am still actively involved in your life. I am still guiding you. I am still protecting you. I am still speaking to you. And from this moment forward, you will begin recognizing my presence in ways you have not understood before. Because tonight was never random. Tonight was the moment I chose to interrupt your confusion and remind you that I have been with you the entire time. My child, I saw every search you made when nobody else knew how desperate your heart had become. I saw the late nights when your room was silent but your thoughts were screaming inside you. I saw you staring into the darkness, trying to understand why your spirit felt so restless even after pretending all day that everything was fine. I saw your fingers typing questions your lips were too afraid to speak aloud. Questions about your future. Questions about your purpose. Questions about why life suddenly felt so heavy. Questions about whether things would ever truly change for you. You searched for hope while trying not to collapse under disappointment. You searched for reassurance while secretly battling fear. You searched for peace while anxiety kept pulling your thoughts in every direction. And through every moment of that searching, I was there beside you, watching quietly, listening carefully, waiting for the moment when your spirit would finally become still enough to recognize my voice. You thought you were only searching through words on a screen, but your soul was actually searching for me. Every restless moment carried a deeper hunger than you understood at the time. Your spirit remembered something your mind kept forgetting. Only my presence can truly calm the confusion inside you. That is why temporary distractions never satisfied your heart for long. You tried staying busy, but the emptiness returned. You tried ignoring the heaviness, but it followed you into quiet moments. You tried convincing yourself that eventually things would improve on their own. Yet deep down you still felt unsettled. My child, that feeling was not weakness. It was a cry of your soul calling out for truth, for clarity, for healing, for me. I know how hard you tried to hold yourself together lately. I know there were moments when you smiled while secretly feeling emotionally exhausted. I know there were conversations where you pretended to be okay because you were tired of explaining pain nobody fully understood. I watched you carry burdens silently because you feared becoming too much for other people. I saw how loneliness slowly settled into your heart even while surrounded by others. You began feeling disconnected not only from people, but sometimes even from yourself. You questioned who you were becoming. You questioned whether your prayers still mattered. You questioned whether your future still carried meaning. And while all those questions filled your mind, I stayed close to you even when my presence felt hidden. My beloved child, there were nights when tears filled your eyes and you immediately wiped them away because you did not want anyone to see how broken you truly felt inside. There were moments when your chest felt heavy with emotions you could not explain. Moments when exhaustion became deeper than physical tiredness. Your soul became weary from fighting silent battles every single day. You woke up carrying pressure. You walked through your days carrying pressure. You fell asleep carrying pressure. And slowly, confusion began wrapping itself around your thoughts until it became difficult to separate truth from fear anymore. The enemy wanted your mind trapped in endless uncertainty because confusion weakens confidence. Confusion drains faith. Confusion makes my children feel isolated even while I stand beside them. But I need you to hear me clearly now. I never abandoned you inside that battle. I heard every whispered prayer you spoke while lying awake at night. I heard the prayers you could barely finish because disappointment interrupted your hope halfway through speaking. I heard the silent cries hidden behind your strong appearance. I even heard the prayers you never fully formed into words because pain made your thoughts too heavy to express clearly. My child, heaven does not ignore broken hearts. I collected every tear you shed in private. I remained near you during every emotional collapse you tried hiding from the world. Even when you questioned whether I still cared, my love remained wrapped around your life more closely than you realized. You searched for answers because confusion had exhausted your spirit. You searched because your heart desperately needed reassurance that your life still had purpose. You searched because deep down you sensed that something important was shifting, but you could not understand what it was yet. You felt disconnected from your old season, but uncertain about your new one. You stood emotionally between endings and beginnings, and that space felt terrifying sometimes. Old things no longer satisfied you the way they once did. Certain relationships no longer felt peaceful. Certain routines no longer felt fulfilling. Even things that once distracted your pain stopped working the same way. And you wondered why everything suddenly felt unfamiliar inside your own spirit. But my child, what you were experiencing was transition. I was slowly pulling you away from what could no longer carry your destiny into the future I prepared for you. There were moments when fear whispered lies into your mind so constantly that you almost believed them completely. Fear told you nothing would change. Fear told you your best days were already behind you. Fear told you that maybe you were forgotten, overlooked, or left behind while others moved forward. Fear replayed your failures repeatedly until shame started attaching itself to your identity. And because you felt emotionally exhausted, those lies sometimes sounded convincing. But my child, listen to me carefully now. Your fear has never spoken with my voice. I do not speak hopelessness over your future. I do not call you abandoned. I do not define you by your weakest moments. The enemy attacked your thoughts because he understood how dangerous your purpose becomes once your spirit fully reconnects with me again. Comment, "You are holy and forever worthy if his greatness fills your worship." You kept searching because your soul refused to completely give up hope. Even during your darkest moments, there remained a small part of your spirit still reaching for light. That reaching was me pulling you closer. That hunger inside you was placed there by me intentionally. I refused to let your heart become permanently numb. I refused to allow confusion to bury your destiny completely. So I kept stirring your spirit even while you tried ignoring the deeper questions inside yourself. I allowed certain uncomfortable feelings because your life was never meant to remain trapped inside emotional survival mode forever. You were created for peace, purpose, clarity, healing, and connection with me. I know you became frustrated because answers did not arrive as quickly as you hoped. I know waiting exhausted you emotionally. Sometimes you expected immediate breakthroughs while I was quietly working beneath the surface in ways your natural eyes could not yet understand. There were doors I kept closed because they would have wounded you later. There were people I removed because they were connected to confusion, not destiny. There were delays protecting you from entering places your spirit was not yet prepared to handle. But because you could not fully see what I was doing behind the scenes, waiting sometimes felt like rejection to you. My beloved child, my silence was never abandonment. My delays were never punishment. I was preserving your future while preparing your spirit at the same time. I saw the moments you almost gave up completely. I saw the moments when discouragement wrapped around your thoughts so tightly that even simple tasks felt emotionally draining. There were mornings when getting out of bed required more strength than anyone around you realized. There were days when your smile hid deep exhaustion. There were times when you wanted to disappear from everything because your soul felt overwhelmed by pressure, uncertainty, disappointment, and emotional fatigue. But through every one of those moments, I stayed beside you, quietly strengthening you in ways you did not fully notice. You survived because my hand remained over your life. Even while confusion surrounded your thoughts, my love never stopped carrying you. And now, my child, I need you to understand why I brought you here tonight. I did not guide you toward this moment just to remind you about your pain. I brought you here because the searching season is ending. The confusion that pushed you into desperation is losing its hold over your spirit. You no longer need to keep wandering endlessly through fear-filled thoughts, searching for answers in every direction. The answer your soul has truly needed is my presence, my truth, my voice, and my peace. I planted this encounter because your spirit was finally ready to hear me clearly again. Your searching was never wasted. Every restless moment led you closer to this awakening. So stop condemning yourself for struggling. Stop believing the lie that your questions disappointed me. Stop carrying shame because your faith became weak during difficult seasons. My child, I understand your humanity completely. I know how painful life has felt lately. I know how deeply certain disappointments wounded your heart. I know how exhausting uncertainty became. And still, I love you without hesitation. Still, I remain committed to your healing. Still, I continue guiding your future carefully. Still, I call you mine. Tonight, while you are listening to these words, something inside your spirit is beginning to breathe again. Hope is slowly returning. Peace is slowly returning. Clarity is slowly returning. You may not fully feel the complete breakthrough yet, but the shift has already begun. Because the searching that once came from desperation will now become seeking that leads you deeper into my presence. And this time, my child, you will not walk through confusion alone. I am leading you forward personally, step by step, heart to heart, into the season I prepared for you long before your pain ever began. My beloved child, heaven brought you here tonight because you were reaching the point where your heart could no longer survive on confusion alone. I watched you trying to keep moving while silently breaking inside. I watched you carrying questions nobody around you could answer. I watched you searching for peace while fear slowly wrapped itself around your thoughts. And I knew the exact moment would come when your soul would become tired enough to stop running and finally listen carefully for my voice again. That moment is now. This is not coincidence. This is not random timing. This is not simply another message passing through your life for a few minutes before disappearing. This encounter was prepared long before tonight arrived. I arranged it because your spirit desperately needed interruption, before confusion consumed your hope completely. You have spent so much time lately trying to understand why everything feels different inside you. You noticed your old ways of coping no longer brought peace. You noticed distractions stopped satisfying your heart the way they once did. You noticed certain people around you suddenly felt distant even while standing close. You noticed that your spirit had become uncomfortable in places where you once felt settled. And because you did not fully understand what was happening, fear tried convincing you that something was wrong with you. But my child, what you have been experiencing is not destruction. It is awakening. I have been pulling your spirit out of a season that was slowly suffocating your destiny. I have been separating you from emotional attachments, false comforts, and environments that could not continue into the future I prepared for you. I know how painful this process has felt sometimes. Transition often feels confusing while it is happening because your spirit senses change before your eyes fully understand it. You have felt caught between two seasons. Part of you has been trying to hold on to what feels familiar, while another part of you feels deeply aware that you cannot return to who you used to be. The tension exhausted you emotionally. It made you feel uncertain about yourself. It made you question whether you were losing direction completely. But my beloved child, you are not losing direction. I am redirecting you. And tonight, I brought you here because I need you to stop interpreting your transition as abandonment. I am still leading you even through unfamiliar territory. There were moments recently when you felt deeply alone even while surrounded by people. You smiled externally while internally carrying heaviness nobody else fully recognized. You tried explaining your feelings to others, but many could not truly understand the depth of what your spirit has been carrying. Some people saw your silence but did not understand your exhaustion. Some saw your distance but did not understand your internal battle. And because you felt misunderstood repeatedly, you slowly started retreating deeper into yourself emotionally. My child, I saw every hidden moment. I saw every tear you wipe away quickly. I saw every anxious thought you fought privately. I saw every night you stared into darkness asking questions your heart was too tired to speak aloud anymore. And while others misunderstood your struggle, I understood it completely. Heaven brought you here tonight because your soul needed reassurance before fear convinced you to stop believing in your future altogether. The enemy has been attacking your thoughts relentlessly because he understands what is approaching your life. He knows breakthrough becomes dangerous to darkness once my children stop agreeing with hopelessness. That is why confusion increased around you lately. That is why anxiety felt heavier. That is why discouragement kept trying to settle into your spirit repeatedly. The enemy wanted you emotionally exhausted enough to quit expecting change. You wanted you spiritually distracted enough to stop listening for my voice. You wanted you trapped inside overthinking until fear completely weakened your confidence in me. But my child, I would not allow confusion to become the final voice speaking over your destiny. Type I will always choose you, Jesus, if your love for him only grows. And share this video.